Greetings, Craddock here. This is going to be your low-grade rifting build with the Firebirds set. We're going to be going Firebirds Explosive Blast for those heavy 6-piece combustion procs via the chain reaction and this familiar spark flint. So that's going to be your main source of damage in this low-grade rifting build. Low-grade rifting builds are going to be very appealing next season. Getting those super quick 1 to 2 minute clears is going to be great for quick gem ups. Getting more ethereals in season. You get more items per hour when you run these low grade rifts at a rapid pace. As long as you're above GR1-100, you will still get the same amount of items dropped. So that's quite nice for farming ethereals. And then you will also be able to save gold at these lower grade rifts, because when you enhance the greater rift, you're spending less gold and thereby needing to do less greed rounds throughout the season, which saves you time, which is great. And then, so how are we dealing damage with Explosive Blast as often as possible? Well, we're stacking a ton of cooldown reduction in this build. You can notice here, pretty much everywhere except the necklace is going to be placed with cooldown. We have Evocation Gogok, we have Captain Crimson's, we have the diamond in the helmet, of course. Then we have offhand, main hand, right finger, left hand finger, hands and shoulders with cooldown, as well as the prophetic harmony on the enchantress, going to be quite nice for boosting cooldown as well. And on top of that, we're running the obsidian ring of the zodiac. So you'll notice here your chain reaction will be reduced to about 1.5 seconds or thereabout. So having the zodiac to reduce this even further and get you almost those instant resets on your Explosive Blast, especially when you're automatically casting this spell, is going to be quite nice for DPS. So how are we maintaining spending all the arcane power that is going to be required to cast Explosive Blast at a rapid pace, combined with channeling Disintegrate at the same time? We're slotting a lot of skills. The easy way would have been to run Diamond Skin Prism. However, Diamond Skin Prism will soak your Obsidian Ring procs, so we don't want to put that on the skill bar. So I've done it in a different way. We're running Power of the Storm for cost reduction, Conduit for restoring arcane power based on your proc coefficients of your spells. We're also running resource cost reduction on gear. So we have shoulder piece RCR, and we also have the RCR from the Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac. Going to be quite good for restoring arcane power via Apox. So we also have, via the ethereal one-handed Oculus, we get arcane power on crit on the weapon this time. And it's higher range than 3 to 4 like you would get on a source. It's 5 to 7. So you can get even more returns via this than you would otherwise. And you still get to slot cooldown on the source. So that's one of the cool things about the Oculus. It also gives cooldown, extra elite damage. We're already running the elite damage from the Oculus, so that's quite nice as well. And then you have Vitality, so a nice base of Vitality there. And it also gives you, reduces damage of enemies hit by 25%. So a nice layer of toughness, which allows you to run topazes in the armor and pants rather than running rubies or emeralds for extra armor toughness, right? So pretty cool. We have a lot of items that are enhancing our toughness in this build just to keep safe. So you've got the Oculus, of course, you're running the RCR from the Captain Crimson's as well. And then we have the Mantle of Channeling giving us toughness, and we have Orb of Infinite Depth giving us 80% as we hit enemies with our EB. Another aspect of the build that is kind of nice to keep you safe. And then the Firebirds, of course, the 4-piece giving us 80% damage reduction when we are channeling. So it's all around just an easy build to play, nice to like quickly go through the Greater Rift and just blow everything up. One cool thing here with the Enchantress as well is we're running Focused Mind. So you notice our third gem here. So we have the additive damage from the Taeguk, we have the multiplicative damage from the Bane of the Trapped. At close range, since it is a melee build, we're running Audacity as well. But we also have the Gogok Swiftness, which is going to give us extra attack speed. So with the Enchantress's Focused Mind, you can hit the 10 FPA breakpoint, which is a little bit faster, is going to spend a little bit more arcane power, but will get you more procs on your Obsidian Ring. So that's the thought here. And when you opt for this, you will not be running a second life passive. So if that is something that is desirable, there is a lot of room in the build. These two passives here, Illusionist and Temporal Flux, both are easily swapped out for other abilities to get you second life. Temporal Flux, I just felt was a nice way to keep safe, slowing enemies and get on your targets a little bit more readily. And then we also have Illusionist, giving us a little bit more movement speed. You're going to be teleporting most of the rift, but Illusionist is just nice when you have to click pylons or click on doors, this sort of thing. So you may be wondering, why am I running Safe Passage and not Wormhole? Wormhole would give us that double jump on our teleport, disregarding the GCD. We're already moving really quick with our frame rates on teleport already, but why not take advantage of that? And I'll tell you that it's pretty weird. Like, you tend to need to kill trash a little bit, even if you cannot skip them over. That's what I'm saying. And the Wormhole, just in my experience, was giving worse clear times with this particular build, because I ended up skipping those larger clumps of trash all the more often. It does take time for your Disintegrate to ignite enemies and your EB to hit them, so just going a tad slower through the rift. You already have infinite teleport. It costs nothing. You get the extra toughness from Safe Passage. Overall, I think this is the better option. It will keep you on course. You'll be able to navigate a little bit more readily. Advanced users, of course, will be able to use the Wormhole a little bit better, but I still feel that it moves too quickly through the rift, funny enough, and yeah, that's why I'm using Safe Passage. Notably, because we're mostly teleporting with this build, pickup radius is going to be so important, because you're not really moving around to activate the globe pickup easier. You're going to have to teleport an additional time each time you need to pick up a globe. So having pickup radius is simply going to be amazing with this build. So try and get as much as possible. You could even allocate more than I have here. I might actually revise the D3 planner, but yeah, it's just so amazing with this build. And alternates. So for alternate options, you have a couple of options. You can actually drop a breakpoint if you would like on the Enchantress and just run the Second Life passive, Fate's Lapse. You can also run the Second Life Unstable Anomaly. This is a great passive. You'll notice here on the Oculus here, I have the Blur passive, so Blur would be good for toughness as well. Other passives that might be good in this build include the Dominance, Unwavering Will, Astral Presence. When you get to lower and lower Greater S, Astral Presence becomes more desirable. Just giving a static base of Arcane Power Regeneration helps. You can also swap out the Spark Flint for Arcanaut. Arcanaut will give Arcane Power Regeneration as well. The other option is just going Templar for Inspire. So when you go to the lower and lower end of Greater S, like your 70, 80, or if you're like super high Paragon doing GR90, perhaps you can run these skills instead and just use the two-piece. The two-piece Firebirds bonus will ignite enemies and simply kill them so quickly as you go through the rift on these like 1-minute clears. Quite nice indeed. Something notable for elemental exposures, you will have 3 stacks. The Oculus takes away a stack because you don't get a stack of elemental exposure there, but you do have the Storm Armor in the build for that 3rd stack. You have Arcane Fire via the 2 skills there, and then the Lightning there. Yep, just a good build. I love it. Hope you do too, and enjoy.